This is Black Views, bringing you the Black News. How's everybody doing today? This is B Jax. So today my topic is on various subjects. Today in particular, I want to talk about the Asian situation, the Asian crisis, where basically they're saying that Black people are attacking Asians. Okay, Black people are even getting arrested for hate crimes for cussing out Asians. Like, I mean, what's new? You go into their shop, they perform poor service. We have Black women that are undisciplined with their mouth and will say anything. And this should be a lesson for Black women as well. Okay, you can't just say anything and do anything you want. They're arresting you. There was a Black woman in New York who basically was arrested for having an argument. Okay, and there was a plainclothes police officer there, and she said something to the plainclothes police officer to the reference of that he brought coronavirus here, and she was arrested. Think about how many times you get into a confrontation with a person of another persuasion, and they say something negative to you. Do you see how a pressure bubble, how sensitive they have made this situation? That if you say something to an Asian and they don't like it, they can just call the police. And if you're still there, the police will arrest you. And if you're not there, they'll take your, they can get your information, find you on the camera, and put out APB, all points bulletin on you. It's really gotten bad. But the flip side of all this is, if you go out at night and you go to, let's say you go to a club or something like that, you see Asians in there partying with Black people and white people. Okay, as if nothing is happening. That's how you know this is all bull BS, and this is something that the media is springing up because basically they're ready to, and they are, not just ready, but they are demonizing Black people. On one hand, they're trying to separate the Black woman from the Black man, and then on the other hand, they're just totally demonizing the Black man. See, it doesn't matter if a Black woman does a crime. It's always going to be a Black man that they see. Okay? You know, I heard a subject the other day about how our women, are we attached to them or not? Do Black women belong to Black men or not? Or are we just two separate ships walking past? You gotta think about that. I mean, Black women are the only race of women who basically demean their men and actually say their men ain't shit. They haven't met all the good men. Many of them have met no good men. But because of where they live at, and because of, I guess the educational, it doesn't even matter what education they have, because Black women will say, I'm sorry, it doesn't matter what education a Black man has, because a Black woman will still say Black men ain't shit. These are all like basically trigger words for failures. Whenever they don't get what they want, or they're unable to maneuver, basically Black men ain't shit. Okay, so just remember that this is also a mechanism used by white supremacy to continue to have Black women and Black men barking at each other, to continue to have us hating each other, assuming the worst of each other, to continue to have Black women walk around with frowns, as if you have to take in consideration, when an educated Black man sees a woman with a frown, that's a deterrent. There are people out here who want to save you, and they will, what's going on? What's wrong? Why aren't you smiling? There are some men that see a frown as an opportunity, I guess a welfare check. And that opportunity is just basically, a feeler. Hey, how you doing? What's going on? And it's also an execution by the female to shoot them down. You understand what I'm saying? Like by shooting him down, that makes her, yeah, fuck him. You know what I'm saying? And so these type of things are what's going on in our black society. We have, there's a criminal element in every society, not just the black society. But if you really take notice, the criminal element is magnified. Like that is magnified in our society. The criminal element. The criminal is allowed to speak. He is allowed to give his opinion, as if it is truth, as if he has studied. He studied criminology, all right, but his words are taken over those who are educated. If you notice that in the black community, we have entertainers who speak out and say things. Like, let's say Lizzo, for example. She says something about basically fat people are oppressed the same as black people. So now what white supremacists is doing is they categorize everything. So now they break every little issue down so that basically your issue is not heard. So when black people say, hey man, we're not getting treated right, then what they do is they pick a category within the black society and pull that out. Like, so black people are black people. So what white supremacy does is they'll take a fat black person and say that black person is being treated worse than racism. So you have to think to yourself, like, what victim of racism just picks out shit in their own bag other than what so all black people, okay, are under racism. So what under the people that are being oppressed, who actually picks out a category within the oppression to say, no, this is more important? No, that's something that's done by white supremacists. So when you see someone like Lizzo talking about fat people are more oppressed than black people, she's handpicked. Those narratives are given to her. And if she works these narratives, then she'll receive success. She'll get more notoriety. She'll get more promotion, because this is what white supremacy wants to hear. They want to hear dumb shit that sounds confusing. So confusion is ultimately white supremacy. Confusion. Because they take both sides of the argument. So as long as you're confused, you can't really say, well, it's not really white supremacy. But the people that's oppressed will not say, well, before you handle all of us, look at our fat people first. They need more attention. Like, that's not something that an oppressed people would say. But the oppressor will slice and dice and confuse to keep you in oppression. So an oppressor will handpick someone out the oppressed to say, I'm not really being oppressed. It's the fatter side of us that's being oppressed. You see what I'm saying? Okay, so she's going to say she's fat, and her fat side is more important than all of us as a group. And so once again, I keep telling you, coons and bootlicks are individuals. Okay, they only care about themselves, the inclination of themselves. Okay, and if they can do the devil's work to get that done, then that is what they will do. And so this is how the media is able to rewrite history, because there are people among us that they will pick. And whenever you challenge, like let's say you say Biden's a racist. We've been saying this. We say this based on his actions. Okay, because we don't know him. We've never sat down with Biden and had a conversation. But his actions, based on his actions, tell you he's a racist and he doesn't care about black people. But as long as he has hand-picked black people who will go along with the narrative that there's not racism, he can deal with them, right? He can deal with those guys around him, because he know they're not a threat. Their job is to keep black people down. That is their job. Don't do anything for them. But at the same time, when I'm accused of being a racist, I will refer to one of you black people as Nah, I can't be racist because I have black people around me. So you see how that works. So that's why you have people like Clyburn. You know, you have all these, you have representatives and senators who sit up there. They're gatekeepers. So when things happen, such as you have the anti-Asian bill that comes up, and they get money because, someone said that, they're being oppressed by black people. Not one politician you hear say anything, says absolutely nothing. So as long as the Democratic politicians toe the line, basically not saying anything, acting as if they don't see or hear anything, then the president and those in charge will continue to say, hey man, what are you talking about? We have senators, representatives. They're not talking about that. No, they're not saying anything about reparations. Why would they say anything about reparations? Many of them are already well-to-do. They already have their families, enrolled in universities and ready to live on the legacy that they have basically lied for and tripped up other black people to get to. So when we sit around, this is number one reason why black people are oblivious to what's going on, because our representation does not inform them. So they're saying to themselves, well, wait a minute, I voted for Clyburn, he ain't saying nothing. Everything must be good. These guys ain't saying anything. I'm sure they're watching us. I'm sure they're looking over our backs to make sure that white supremacy is not making laws and policies to hurt us. I'm sure of this. And it's really actually opposite. They are allowing white supremacists to smother us. Look at our businesses. We don't have any businesses. How is this possible? You have black representation supposedly, at the Capitol right now, sitting down, going to the vending machine, getting chips and sodas and shit, walking out of the cafeteria, taking the subway across, the underground subway across to other buildings in the Capitol campus. Well, living good. Wearing nice suits, walking around with other dignitaries and important people to talk about contracts and things like that. Meanwhile, white supremacists are creating and making policies, and they're passing, and they've been passing. You don't even know about it because your representation does not inform you. You are oblivious. So when black media sits here and tries to break these things down to you and tell you what's going on, it sounds crazy. It sounds far-fetched. It sounds like, nah, man, I'm not hearing about this. These guys here, man, they're just, really, it's the truth. Your representation stinks. Therefore, it's almost like a parent. Let's say, if you ever been out, with your mom or your dad, and, as a child, when you see something and something startles you, or you see something that's irregular, and if it scares you, the first thing you do is you look at the parent. And, I would look at my dad, in my house, the toughest thing was my dad. So I would look at my dad and if my dad is not concerned about what's going on or worried about what's going on, I'm not worried about what's going on because my dad is good to go. So I'm good to go. So same thing where I looked at my dad, black people as a whole, we look at our representatives. We look at the people that have been elected and we say, well, they're not saying anything. So everything must be good. So this is the failure within our own system, okay? Because this is what, at the end of the day, white people gonna say, well, hey, y'all doing it to yourselves. And we're like, how the hell are we doing it to ourselves? When we actually are doing it to ourselves because we have bootlicks, crumb snatchers, butter biscuit eaters, butt kissers, brown nosers, who sit up there at the top and get paid, bro. Get paid a good penny. Living good. Look at their houses, bro. They have drivers. They have people pick them up, wipe their mouth for them, give them sandwiches, shit like that. every step of their life is catered to. But they just can't do anything. Their jobs are easy. Think about it. What do they argue? They don't have shit to argue about. They get paid. They come in with a smile on their face, and what do they talk about? They don't have to talk about anything. They have a media there for them. That has got to be the easiest job, a black representative or a black senator. Because you ain't talking about shit. You're not worried about black issues. You ain't got to worry about black poverty because you don't care. Nothing's going to happen. You constantly, when reparation comes up, none of them say anything. And then when it's time to go pick someone to testify, they just can't happen to find anyone that can testify as to why black people need reparations. It shut out. I think they 3-0. They just can't find nobody. Not one other person to say, yeah, we need it. And then that goes national. No, it's not going to happen. So just to let you know, all these things are happening because of your black leadership. Even your black journalists, they don't say anything. One thing I noticed is that when this rhetoric started going out about, first time I saw it was ABC, a report. But one thing I started noticing was their anchor people, Asian anchor people, speaking up, saying something. Hey, this isn't right. Blah, 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 blah. And you don't hear any black person say, well, you crazy. Either they're not in touch with reality or they're crazy. Because to be in touch with reality is to come down into these streets and see how black people are living. And black people are telling you every day, we don't even encounter Asians. The only time you encounter an Asian is when you go and you buy from them. They're not just out here walking around in our streets, okay? You have to leave to go somewhere else. So it's a lie, man. The media, irresponsible, educated people who actually lie. In their hands, their blood on their hands, because what they're doing is they're creating something to say that a whole group of people are out here violently and viciously trying to hurt another group of people. Which is come on. This is like playground games. And white supremacists, that's what they do. They're cowards. And they play playground games. And they always play the victim. I'm trying to understand how an Asian can even come at us like that. All my life growing up, I guess I'm a Vietnam baby. My father, Vietnam, his friends, family, friends, just growing up, you heard actually good things about Asians. They're this or that, they're not bad people. These people all, we had to go over there, blah, 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 blah. They came back with all types of apparel, attire, nice, fine clothing and fabrics and things like that they purchased and ordered from overseas. And people were very, when they talk about Asians, listen, guy, we grew up kung fu movies, things like, man, hey, like I said, the only stereotypes that we have about Asians is what we saw on TV. We saw that they all did karate or kung fu, so that's what we thought. That's just what was given, fed to us. That's, martial arts, Asians, Chinese. And then as I grew up, we started to realize they had stores in our communities. And we would go to those stores because they never checked for IDs. We would go there, get drinks. When I say drinks, not so much alcohol, but we would get beer. And we like beer. We like that motherfucking Red Bull, that Colt 45, St. Ides. Back then, when they was kicking that St. Ides, man, you can get that shit at the Asian shop and you didn't need no ID. Nobody's asking for an ID. If you went to the liquor store where the white man owned it, he needed ID. But if you go to the Asians, you can get it. You can get whatever you wanted at Asian stores. How you think they packaged that weed back in the day? Where you think they got the packages from? Okay, come on, man. They've been in our community. They've been there to supply the things that black people needed: scales, baggies, They've provided everything for the black community and its crime. All the contraband that you need, they have provided that. And now they've raised their hand to us as if they took all our money. And let me tell you how it is. The ones, the anchor women and all the shit that you see right there. Okay, a lot of them, they went to college and were able to be professionals because of black money. Because the money that black people provided them. Went to their stores, hard-earned money. When black women stopped cooking, that's when the Asians kicked in. Okay? The black woman stopped cooking because she was working. So what she would do is she would leave money for her son or daughter, go over there to the the Asian and get you. I mean, I know brothers and sisters that grew up off 2-piece chicken meals, chicken dinner, shrimp fried rice, and a 2-piece. Rice before fries, but the fries were good. So listen to come on, man. These people been here. Now all of a sudden we attacking them. But you're strategically in our neighborhoods getting all the dollars. And then right in our face, you'll see them eating something that they're not selling you. But we don't catch on. We just so just manualed that we just don't, we assume that they mean us well. Everybody that comes to us mean us well. Nah, man, the Asians are winning, man. They are a modeled minority. Meaning they came in and they lived the American dream and they got it, they made a come up. But look at it this way. That seems to be what everybody does. They all come through here, they lay on our backs and our chests, and then they come up. And then when their kids get old, they talk shit. As if they'll tell the story my mom and my pop, they worked hard nights. The store stayed open and they worked hard to get me this college education so that I'm able to do the things that I can do, but not thinking that their parents had a store that was basically their customers were all black people, okay? Because white people were racist and they didn't like Asians. They ain't got shit to do with me though. You understand what I'm saying? White people made laws against black people and Asians. They ain't got shit to do with me though. That's not my fight. My fight is for the freedom and liberation of my people, economically as well. Okay, I want us to be economically successful. But look who we got in our neighborhoods, and you can't say nothing. And they sit up here talking about we abusing them. They go with it. Because you don't hear anybody saying anything different. You don't hear no Asian saying, man, well, actually there's a young lady who says that. But what they're doing is they're perpetuating this, and now they have anti-Asian this, anti-Asian that, and they have benefits that black people have never been awarded. How is that possible? You would think us being at the pit, we would be at least the first in line to get some type of care, reparation, money you owe us, okay? That money not owed to Asians. That money owed to black people. It's not owed to no damn Asians. And then we talk about Asian Americans, right? Ask yourself, when you go into an Asian store or nail shop, how many of them are Americans? I'ma honestly tell you, in my eyes, from my opinion, 95% of those people that are working in these stores are not American Asians. So it gets even more and more confusing because you don't know what the hell they're talking about. On paper, it just says Asians. It doesn't say Chinese Asians. It don't say Korean Asians. It don't say Japanese. See, that's how the wording of this. Everybody's covered, man. Asians. It's 48 countries. Everybody is covered. The Asians are covered. The Europeans are covered. And the Hispanics that are coming up the border are covered. You can't touch them. Can't say nothing to them. Biden's ready to give them This little great working plan that he has, that's for them. That's not for Negroes. Because Negroes can't even get a construction job in their own neighborhoods. The Hispanics got that. So what makes you think Negroes going, when they say put America to work and all this shit, man, niggas not getting that. I'm just telling you. There's going to be some stipulation in there where, oh, they can't pass the background check. But guess what? An immigrant will be able to work there. Because it's designed that you don't get a piece of the pie, black man. The George Floyd trial is up any day now. We should be hearing the results of that. That's a whole lot that's coming up, man. And once again, doing all this, you won't hear anything from leadership unless it's to get a paycheck. And that's about it. So these are the current events. Black men are being killed once again, unarmed. Like, I mean, just if you keep telling this story, I know every story is different, but it all comes out the same. You keep killing unarmed black men. And then you hear other cuckoos who are embarrassed of other black people will say stuff like, well, we need to, black men have to atone for what they, what do you mean? And then this same lady, Kim Potter, she killed an autistic young man. Like, she got a thing with killing young men. Control. Don't get it twisted. The female white supremacist is just as vicious. Because she'll disarm you with her face. She is just as vicious. All that interracial sex that you're having, be careful. Because as soon as you do something she don't like, or as soon as you go to leave her for another, she's still a woman. And the worst thing you want to hear is you sexually attack this woman. Stay away from that shit. Men, black men, use some cock discipline. Use dick discipline. I'm serious. Whack the fuck off. Go jerk off. Put your favorite porn is free on the internet. Okay, didn't have it when I was growing up. Porn is free. Do what you have to do, man. But you must find a way to de-escalate the tense moment where you're fiending for some ass. You must have discipline. If we can practice discipline in those areas, we will be successful as black men. Watch out. There's so many tricks and potholes, and you have people out here committing fraud, and it's so much out here to hook you. There's so much out here to get you in trouble. And that's why you have to be disciplined, black man. You need it. Many of us just wasn't taught this. You didn't have a conversation with nobody because a lot of times you don't fucking listen. You constantly running your motherfucking mouth. I'm talking about black men. Constantly running your mouth thinking you know what the fuck going on and you don't know shit. Some of you guys can't shut your pie hole just to hear something. And the person that's trying to assist you been through it. So, I didn't mean to hold it so long, but please share, please like, and subscribe. Once again, stop spending your money at Asian establishments. Get them where it hurt. You don't have to lift your hands. You don't have to say anything out your mouth. Stop spending your money with them. Stop smiling with them. They will get the picture. They will go back and they will tell others. Stop giving them your money. That's how they become powerful. Off your money. White supremacists are not buying Asian shit. Black people are. And in the same conversation, they accuse you of oppressing them. So they can kill you, man. They want a license to be able to, they want to shut your fucking mouth up. They want a license to be able to blow your head off when you run into their establishments and you want your proper change back, or you mad because they snatched that dollar out your hand. They want to be able to tell you, get out. And then when you don't leave, they just fucking shoot you. And everybody in there agree that you were aggressive with them. This is what they want. They want all of you. Next thing you know, they'll be buying your homes, where their stores at. And black man, listen, we have to control what we do by being disciplined. We have to stop letting people pull us out of our yoke. Stop being emotional and listen. Think, wait, then react. Depending on what the situation is. But you should wait and you should think first before reacting. Now, if you got a punch coming at your ass, if you ain't properly trained enough to move and slip and move, get that, that's on you. But brothers and sisters, please, have a good day. I love you.